Hello, I'm PX and welcome back to Seeds Sunday. This is the Sometimes Weekly series on my channel where I show you seeds which are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way, usually because they're particularly great or interesting, but today it's kind of the opposite because this is a sad story kind of just taking place in seed form. So even though this is a tragedy, it is kind of a beautiful tragedy, it is kind of an interesting tragedy, and I figured I had to share it with all of you, and that's why I'm making today's video to do so. So hopefully you do enjoy this video, you can like it if you do like it, but let's dive straight into why this is a tragedy. So first of all, the seed is going to be on screen right now. This works for Java Edition 1.13 and 1.14 because one of my subscribers, his name is Izzy Kai, got back into Minecraft because of some of the videos recently. He wanted to defeat the Ender Dragon on a brand new world, so he loaded up this world and he figured we're going to do that, but what happened was a little bit more tragic than he was quite expecting. So yeah, let's go straight into this one and let's start by explaining why this is a great seed, because you'll spawn over here and on the surface it seems like a pretty, at least average, arguably above average seed for Java Edition, because you have this huge plains biome right here covered in all sorts of flowers, including sunflowers, including the brand new flower you can find in 1.14, if you're playing this update that is, the cornflower, which is really wonderful, so you find new flowers, and then as well as that, you find one of the rarer types of new villages just over here in this little edge of a taiga biome, so it is a taiga village, which is right at the edge, and the reason that's great is because if you chop down the trees, you can basically have a taiga village, but in a plains biome, so you can have access to all the new blocks, all the new resources, all the new wonderful things, mossy cobblestone. Again, this is for 1.14 snapshots right now, and soon to be the 1.14 update. You can get pumpkins, you can get the new villages, you can get all these nice things, which is really great and fun to check out. Like, oh look, there's stonecutters in here, but the most interesting one is the fact that you get some free loot from spawn, better than most taiga villages currently offer. It's free armor, free sword, free apples, I mean literally free apples in this case, and it's just a wonderful thing in general, and this is why he was kind of tempted into the seed. This is the thing that kept things going. However, when he decided to try to go to his first end portal, he'd gone his stuff, he spent hours on the seed already, he decided to track down his first end portal by using Eye of Enders. And let me show you what happens, because first of all, it's over 2,000 blocks for the nearest stronghold from spawn. That's not uncommon on Java Edition, but it is kind of a bit of bad luck to start with, so he traveled like this for 2,000 blocks, which we're going to have to do in fast forward because that's quite a lot to travel. 2,000 blocks later, and we're still not there, by the way. There is still more distance to cover, but I feel like I should mention that along the way, at these coordinates right here, if you want to see those on screen, you can see something that I thought was kind of crazy, which is a shipwreck combined with an ocean ruins, which is already a nice little ring thing itself, but then also right next to that is an ocean monument. So, ocean monument combined with two other things, that's interesting. It's almost as if that's a common theme you'll see across this seed, across so many different places, including where we're about to end up. Because when we do eventually end up at what is meant to be the end portal, you'll notice how it actually looks suspiciously like an ocean monument. And this is because, by extreme coincidence, especially on Java, where generally speaking, things don't tend to combine as much, the world code is a lot more strict about having stuff like this happen, but somehow, in spite of that, in 1.14 at least, you can see there is a stronghold combined with the ocean monument, which on the surface seems like, oh yeah, that's cool, well, two birds with one stone, but think about it this way, when you go near this thing, you get mining fatigue, so trying to get into the stronghold is absurdly tricky because you can't break things while you're in there, you can't really punch things properly, basically you can't use your left click function or your right trigger function while you're inside this stronghold, which is a pretty bad first off the bat, downside, I would say. And although there is some free chests to make up for it, there is the usual stuff. You can see on the inside, it's just as absurd because look at this. The ceiling of this, this library is made from prismarine, and there is a huge, one of the legs of the ocean monument is digging through here too. And this is something that just repeats as you go through the stronghold. You walk through it and it seems normal for a bit, and then a few seconds later, you find yourself back in Crazy Town with another leg going through another part of the stronghold, and this is with more water pouring in because it also creates holes, because there is a gap of air, which turns into water now, around the edge of a ocean monument. You get weird stuff like that, and it makes traversing this thing quite the challenge, to say the least, and to say the most, a pretty bizarre thing. But the weirdest thing happens when when stuff like this happens, where there's literally prismarine blocking the way, but also, which, by the way, blocks the way to the end portal room, so if you didn't know about this, you'd go for a lot of effort. But somehow, if you get through all of those trials and tribulations, you'll find that the end portal room is entirely exposed to the water. So, again, this is kind of a blessing and a curse. I mean, there's no silverfish that will spawn here. That's kind of nice. And technically speaking, it's really easy to swim into this thing. You don't need to mine any blocks to find this stronghold. That's kind of nice. But again, what actually happened is sometimes, it's only like some of the time, the end portal will be entirely destroyed by the Ocean Monument, which is kind of wild. It looks like this when it happens, and that was the most soul-crushing thing that had ever happened to him. It's like, I go through all that effort, I get the stuff, I find my first stronghold, I finally go through the entire thing, and then this happens, it's just none of that left. And even if you're lucky, and like me, you know, like lucky in big air quotes, you find this, again, after the aquatic update, that is, now technically possible. Even if you find something like this, where it still does have the things, it's still going to be a very tricky thing to get all those eye benders in there, and to have your end portal be exposed to water. This is because, one, I mean, when a silverfish can spawn, which they have managed to because of the air blocks now, they're potentially going to, like, slide in there or something. But more importantly, assuming you do destroy that like most people would before this starts to happen, which is, what even is this? But this means that Guardians can swim into your end, and if we wait here for long enough, you still see that will start to happen. And again, they're not really much of a threat when they're out of water, but the fact that you can have Guardians seeping into your end, and there's nothing you can ever do about that, because while this is underwater, Guardians will spawn here. It's an ocean monument, this is their natural spawning place, so Guardians can accidentally fly into your end, which is a big problem. Getting the eye benders there is a big problem, and that's if you're lucky, and you don't have your portal destroyed, like seems to happen a lot of the time. So yeah, long story short, this is the tragic tale of the person who just wanted to play some survival Minecraft, enjoyed, seeing some Toy Cat epic survival projects, and was like, I want to do some of this myself, I'm gonna beat the dragon, and then this happened to them instead, which is, again, it's a nice fun thing on the surface. But it's an issue that's compounded even further by the fact that this is one of those ends which has a kind of boxed-in spawn. If you don't know, the end in Minecraft will generate you with a platform, and this platform is usually meant to be at the edge of the islands, but a lot of the times you end up inside of it. But in these cases, you'll end up with one Guardian. If you've been there a long time, it could be a lot more than 1, 2, 3. You could have a whole little system of Guardians here, which will be there in a box trapped in there with you until you can get out, which is kind of scary because Guardians, they can hit through armor. They're a dangerous mob, in the best of situations, and even out of water, they can survive as long as they want. They can bounce, they can hurt you, they can do their stuff. So yeah, get out here as fast as you can, and then here is the end dragon, which I mean, like, although the end is different on every seed, I wouldn't say it's hugely so worth deciding your entire seed based on that. It's a normal enough fight once you get here. It feels a bit weird that on Java the portal was really, really badly off center, like it's all the way over there despite towers being here. But that's just a weird Java thing, so let's go back to the overworld. Let's finish up the seed roundup by saying that, yeah, this is a pretty solid seed in a lot of different ways. It starts off just seeming like, oh yeah, this is a, mildly above average seed. There are a lot of worse seeds. There are obviously going to be some better seeds, but for one that you just load up randomly, it seems pretty good on the surface. You get lots of, plains biome near spawn. You get a rare village on the other side of spawn. You get some flower forests. You get a lava pit, which is handy for, going to the nether fast, alongside apparently burning down trees, as it turns out today. But you get all these things and pumpkins, which make it seem really great on the surface, with more tiger villages, more weird things to come. But then there is an extreme challenge at the end, which for most people, if this is just your first time, seems like a bad thing. But this is why this seems like it's almost a fun challenge. If you want to mix up your Minecraft life, the reason I'm showing off this seed is not just be like, haha, look how bad a time this guy had. It's to show that, like, even though this was a tragic, terrible thing for a lot of people, this can be a fun challenge for you. Do you want to live in a Minecraft seed with that extra layer of challenge? And that's why I like this as a Seed Sunday. I think, although most of the time it's better to do things easier, especially if it's like a chore or whatever, sometimes doing things the more complex way, the more confusing way, can be a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people have, gathered that from some of the videos I've made recently. But in case you haven't, in case you do want to challenge yourself, if you play Minecraft Java Edition, this is probably the last season I'll make on this on this version for quite some time. Although I find, new villages to be fascinating, I mostly focus on Bedrock and Bedrock Seeds on the channel. But if you're a Java player who watches the channel, one, that's cool. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the videos regardless. And two, it's like, yeah, this is a seed you can challenge yourself with. And yeah, even though Java has less variance in seeds, so it makes it hard to find stuff like this, seeds like this do exist. And if you want to challenge yourself, then the seed at the start of the video is the one I recommend. Side note, I know this is like new textures, but I've just realized now how like snow has like a different color depending on where you're looking at it, and it's starting to like blow my mind a little bit. So yeah, with that said, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like it, you can like this video and let me know, because it helps out the channel. Let us know you do like Seed Sunday. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel. And if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. And given that someone's going to accuse me of making this over 10 minutes if I don't say something now, longer videos are something people tend to like in my experience, and it's kind of annoying that just when a video goes anywhere near the 10-minute mark, because some YouTubers obviously are extending their videos just to get to that mark, it's like, I mean, not everyone's doing that. Sometimes a video naturally ends up in that radius. Notice how very few of my videos end up just over 10 minutes. Most of them are a lot longer than that, and yeah, just keep that in mind before your whole kind of thing. And just in case you're mad anyway, let's talk about seeds, and let's actually make this over 10 minutes, because did you know that seeds on Bedrock are actually called wheat seeds on Java Edition? Because Java Edition recently renamed a bunch of items, and really when you think about it, seeds on Bedrock probably shouldn't be called seeds, because, you know, when there's so many different types of seeds, why call one the default seed? So what do you think? Should seeds be called seed or wheat seeds? Let me know in the comments down below. Start a big argument. I don't really care, but thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.